What's up guys, it's Anthony, and in today's video we're going to be doing a oil change on my 2019 Nissan Sentra. We'll show you everything, how to do it. Pretty simple. This is probably one of the easiest cars to do an oil change on. So let's go ahead and figure out how to do it at home. Alright, so to start, you just want to find a semi-level surface. You're going to need a jack or ramps, jack stand, a tool set that at least has basically like a 10 to a 17. I believe it's going to be a 14 millimeter. You're going to need a catch pan, a funnel, your oil, and oil filter. This is the oil filter that I got. It's a S6607. That's the filter for this car, and it takes, I believe, pretty much 4.5 quarts of 020. So we're going to go ahead and jack the car up from both sides, put a jack stand under it, and get it up in the air. So let's go ahead and start with that. Alright, now that you got the car in the air, you just find your pinch weld and jack it up. Put the jack stand on it. Do that on both sides. Shake the car, make sure it's not going nowhere. I leave the jack on that side just as a little bit of extra support. Then you're going to come up here, locate your oil filter cap, which this one's kind of a pain to get undone. Alright, so you want to take your oil filter cap off and just set it up here out of the way so you don't lose it. That way you know not to start the vehicle because it's got no oil in it. And then we're going to go ahead and head on underneath of the car and start taking the oil filter off and draining the oil. So, crawling under the car here, you got your oil filter. And then the drain plug right there. Like I said, this car is pretty easy. There's no weird covers or anything like that. Everything's accessible. It doesn't drain out on anything stupid and make a mess. So it's a pretty easy car to do an oil change on. So let's go ahead and get started with doing the oil filter first, and then we'll drain the oil. So, and if you can't take your oil filter off by hand, some of these band wrenches, oil filter wrenches, are very nice because you just gotta crack it loose. Let it drain. It's pretty clean oil still, which is good. And then there's oil filter. While this is draining is the perfect time to get your new oil filter. And this little O-ring right there. And you got oil on your hands. And you got this. Just to lube this up. So a lot of people will agree to disagree on this, but you pour some oil in the oil filter to prime it. I don't personally do that usually. It's usually just fine for a second. The only reason why people tell you to do that is because it can have no oil pressure for a little bit and cause issues, but If you change your oil every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, you'll be good. There's no issues there. So, and we just let that drain until it stops, like that. Take your new one, put it up there. Aurora, watch out.
Sorry.
I'm fine. Until it gets tight, and then just quarter turn it. That's all you need. Then you get yourself some brake cleaner and just spray up there. That way you don't have any oil left over on it, hanging out, staying around, and helping collect dirt during your driving until your next oil change. And then just like that, the oil change, or the oil filter, is completed. Now we're going back here to the drain plug. And I believe it's a 14 mil. Yep, there you go. 14 millimeter. I don't know if the camera can see that or not. And you're just gonna wanna, I'll move you guys back just to make sure you can see. But alright, so now you just wanna break the drain plug loose. Just like that. And then like that, your oil is draining. And then you just wait here for it to do that. And yeah. So I'll see you guys when we're putting the drain plug back in and it's done draining. Alright, so that's enough out of there for me. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back on. Make sure that you have a little copper washer on there. If you don't, Auto Parts Store just sells like generic copper washers. Just go in there and ask for them for the drain plug. So we're just going to go ahead and put the drain plug back on. And I like to just thread it in by hand all the way. That way you know it's nice and smooth. Next time you go do your oil change, you're not fighting it. Just because I don't like to get my tools all oily, I'll just go ahead and kind of wipe that up for a second. And then tighten it up. These don't need to be ridiculously tight. I think they only need like 30 foot-pound or 30, yeah, something like that. So I just kind of snug it up, just like that. Not a lot of pressure. Take the brake clean and just give it a little shower. Make sure it gets nice and clean. That way you don't have to deal with dirt and stuff sticking to it. And then just give everything a good wipe. And then just like that, your oil change is almost done. So let's go ahead and get this stuff out from under the car. And we'll set it down on the ground and show you what to do up top. Alright, and once you get the car down and the jack stands out, everything like that, you're going to go ahead and grab your funnel, like I've got here. I've got to spray mine out really quick. There we go there. And then you're going to go ahead and put it up here. I'm going to have to use two hands for this just because the hole is kind of an awkward fill hole. I don't want to make a mess everywhere. So So we'll go ahead and prop you guys up and we'll start putting oil in it. So it takes 4.2 quarts of 0.20 oil. So I'm just gonna put like 4.5 in here, just because it can't hurt to have a little bit extra, because this oil is pretty much just brown water. It's super thin, so it can't really hurt. We'll go ahead and get all 4 quarts in here, and yeah, so I'll go ahead and speed this up. Let's get this done. Alright, and just like that, your oil change is complete. The only other thing you need to do is reset the maintenance light inside. If you don't know how to do that already, I have a video on my channel explaining to you how to do that. So I'm just going to need to go ahead and do that and clean up. Other than that, that's how you do an oil change on a 2019 Nissan Sentra. It's a 1.8 liter engine. Thank you for watching. Has been Anthony. I'm going to see you guys later.